In this week's video, I'm going to talk about the number one thing that is stopping you from being a powerful leader. And yes, if you are being called to be a coach and start a business, you are being called to be a leader. And this is an important role that you take on. But a lot of people have a hard time with stepping into this, and there's a very specific reason why. And that's exactly what I'm going to dive into in this week's video. So, as a coach, you may be wondering, am I good enough to do this? Do I have something good enough to offer? Will anyone really want to work with me? Is the market oversaturated? Why would someone pick me to work with? What if my business doesn't work? Have you thought of any of those things? I hear these things all the time, so know that you're not alone. But I want to talk about why these are the things you're thinking about instead of thinking about becoming a leader and what you could do as a leader. So I want to start by telling you a little bit about my story just as far as growing up. I really loved being a leader. I loved coming up with ideas of what we were going to do. I had my little friend group, creative projects. I liked putting on plays, choreographing dances, going and creating forts, and just kind of leading people into that. And it's something I did really naturally. And as I grew up, I really started to question myself and compare myself to other people and find flaws about myself that I thought weren't good enough or made me inferior to other people in some sort of way. And this really, I would say, took a hit on my self-confidence, really started questioning myself, and I stopped really stepping into that role of being the leader. And I started more hiding, kind of being more shy. I've always been an introvert, so I've always been someone who's been a little bit more quiet. But I think, shyness as far as really questioning myself, overthinking myself and everything I was saying and doing, all those things, which I'm sure many of you can relate to. But I really stopped being that leader who I had always been because of those things. And why did this happen? So why it happened is because of this big thing. And this is the big thing you need to shift if you want to step into being a leader. So instead of being focused on the outside world and on the impact I could be making and on the fun that I could be having, I started focusing on myself and really tearing myself apart, right? I'm not good enough. Look at me, comparing myself to other people and becoming almost self-obsessed as far as who I was and where I wasn't measuring up and being very critical of myself. And what you need to do in order to be a leader is to, instead of being so focused on yourself, which is selfish, really, not that we're trying to be selfish, but it really is. We're just obsessed about ourselves and tearing ourselves apart and why I'm not good enough and all that stuff, which is silly and a waste of time and energy, right? So instead, to be focused on others, to be focused on the impact you could make, to be focused on why you're here and your purpose and your mission. And that really shifts things, because instead of being so self-focused and what about me? What if people don't like me? What if they think I'm salesy and pushy? What if I say the wrong thing? Instead, you're thinking about, who can I help? How can I help them? How can I make their lives better? How can I make a big difference in people's lives and in the world? Okay. So making that shift makes that huge difference. Instead of being obsessed about yourself and why you're not good enough and living all up in your head, you can start thinking about let me go and make a huge difference, and being focused on that instead of being focused on yourself, okay, and why you're not good enough. And that shift can make all the difference for you. And especially when it comes to your business, because I know so many entrepreneurs get caught up in this not being good enough, comparing yourself to everyone else, and instead start tapping into the impact that you can make in other people's lives and in the world. You are called to be a coach for a reason. You are called to start a business for a reason. It's because it is what you are meant to be doing, and trust that and tap into that bigger vision, the lives that you can change, the difference that you can make, instead of being so caught up in yourself and, are you doing it right? Are you saying the right thing? Are people going to like what you're doing? It's silliness, right? And so make that shift and be you and have fun with it. You're meant to do it in your own unique way. You're meant to do it showing up as yourself and being authentic. And it's meant to be fun. It's not meant to be this big serious thing. And when we're really self-focused, that's when it feels icky, because we're so focused on doing it right. And what are people going to think of us? And what if I mess up? All those things. Like, have fun with it and be focused on the impact you can make. It's going to make all the difference for you. So I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Did this resonate with you? Do you find that you're someone who gets really self-focused, you're really self-critical, and you're so caught up and worried about what people are going to think of you and doing it the right way? Let me know in the comments below. Is that holding you back? And this isn't a bad thing. Like, this happens to so many people. It's something I've gone through as well. Like, I had to make that shift. But knowing this and recognizing it can make a huge difference so that you can shift that focus from inwards to outwards, okay? So if you want to dive deeper into growing your business step by step, you want to build your confidence, you want to know how to get out there, start getting those clients, making that big impact you're meant to be making, I have a training for you that I will link below this video. Go ahead, sign up. I know you're going to find it super helpful. And I want to thank you so much for joining me in this week's video. If you want more videos like this, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video.